Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who has been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. For pretty much 100 years, they have been the cornerstone of the retail specialty coffee community because of their dependability, innovation, quality. I mean, their reputation is hard-earned, and the proof is not only in their legacy, but in what they do today with espresso machines like the KB90 espresso machine that introduced straight-in locking portafilters for better ergonomics, scales in the drip tray for accuracy of your extractions, as well as the auto flush feature, which increases the cleanliness of your espresso machine and improves your workflow. It's just one of many espresso machines and types of machines that they have on offer at La Marzocco to fit your cafe perfectly. And to be fit with a great espresso machine for your business, all you need to do is reach out to their salespeople over at info@lamarzocousa.com. And be sure to check out their website over at lamarzocousa.com. Now, if you're looking to get into the app world and mobile ordering, one company that you should definitely take a look at is Espressly. They create custom branded mobile apps for your business that bring together the convenience of mobile ordering with the custom design and feel of your business that your customers are familiar with and absolutely love. You want something that's going to stand out in a saturated market of technology? This is it. It's a no-risk model. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities. All of the data is stored in the app, and it integrates with some of the world's best payment processing systems, including Square. So you need to sign up today and check them out over at espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about the process of turning your business around. And really, the turning radius of a business depends on how far down the line you've gone as a business. There are many people who have small businesses. They only have one shop. They have been in business for a couple of years, and you know what? They want to make a change. So they end up making a change, and it takes all of maybe 1 or 2 months, right? And then there are people who operate a 5-store coffee shop and roastery with a wholesale program, and they've got a ton of staff and a lot of investment into branding and also into systems, but they realize somewhere down the line that, we really need to do version 2 of this. We need to refine things. That company might take the exact same change. Let's say that it's like revamping your training and onboarding processes, which is something that I've been able to help several of my clients with. It goes really easily when you've got a smaller business, but that bigger business, it takes a long time comparatively. And I would say a long time not to dissuade you from trying to do it, because if it's worth doing well, and it's worth spending the right amount of time to do it well for the business. However, if you start the process believing that it's going to be very quick, you can very quickly get disillusioned with the process and just scrap it and say, well, we've already got this system. It's been going all right so far. We'll just keep it. It's just not worth the headache. Now, it's not worth the headache might be something that you say to yourself, I think, more often when you don't fully know what you're getting into, when you don't fully assess what it means to change something. And in that case, maybe it was not the right time for you to make that change if you were not dedicated to doing it for the long term. And that's where today's topic comes in, which is to say, the longer you've been in business and the more invested you are into systems and vertical integration of different elements of your business, like wholesale, products, multiple stores and concepts and things like that, the more complex issuing change is going to be. So the turning radius of your vehicle is much wider. A small car making a right turn is different than a semi-truck making a right turn. Why? Because one has more stuff in it. It's just larger. And so your business is the same way. And the thing is, when you do make a change, to something large, you've got to spend a lot more time thinking about, is this the right move? And making sure you're minding your P's and Q's, you're looking at all of the different areas of the business this particular change is going to impact. Because if you're going to move this thing, you better be darn sure that you're going to move it in the right direction. And, that's a process of discovery that usually is the thing that takes the most time. So let's say I'm starting on a project for a client and the initial concept is, okay, we're just going to, say refine some onboarding procedures, right? Well, what looked like a simple procedure uncovers an incredible amount of tangle under the surface that has led to some of the dysfunction that initially maybe had somebody calling me for help. Okay. And the longer you're in business, the more tangle you get under the surface of what you see on the day-to-day of the business. And so I think it's always safe to assume that whatever you think you're going to do when it's related to refining or changing something in your business, you can pretty much count on there being more complication than you initially thought. And all of those things do need to be addressed. If they don't get addressed, then it kind of, it's like a fly in the ointment. It just kind of ruins the whole thing. So with onboarding, it might be that your current processes, for example, are what they are because you've historically hired people who you're not really thrilled with, but you've compensated by building a system that allows for their poor performance to be covered up by you picking up the slack. So you're hyper involved in all the onboarding, even though you've wanted to kind of remove yourself from the processes, you're still intimately involved. And at this point, you shouldn't be. You should have delegated it, but you've built the system around compensation for another issue, which is hiring. And so in order to actually usher in a new system without it being completely sabotaged by something off in left field, we got to take care of that one thing, because that means a better chance of success for what we create. And so the whole point today is to just kind of impress upon you that change is good. Refining your systems is good. And taking it seriously enough to investigate all of the connected issues is absolutely necessary. And if you're a young business, you can do this more readily. You're a lot more nimble and flexible than if you are an older business with a wider turning radius. So whoever you are listening to this now, proceed appropriately. Muster the kind of attention to the process that is necessary for where you're at, and just make sure that if you make a decision that you're prepared to see it through. And in the end, you'll discover that doing all of that, the due diligence of finding out the whole truth about the situation, will make that change that much more positive for your organization, no matter what length of time it takes. So I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, definitely email me, chris@keystotheshop.com. If you're interested in working with Keys to the Shop Consulting, you can also use that email, chris@keystotheshop.com. And with that, that is the end of our show today. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.